Those darn little mosquitoes love me way too much. It makes me angry. Hello interwebs and welcome back. I'm Shanna and this is where I share my life and stories and vintages, opinions, and whatever else I feel like. And today we are here to talk about the Ha Giang Loop, a kind of full review of the loop itself, of my experience, of my friend's experience, and also of the tour. So we're going to talk about everything. And I don't want to ramble too much in the beginning, so let's go ahead and get into it. So if you guys watched all of my videos on the actual Ha Giang Loop itself, it's very obvious that the loop is gorgeous. It is stunning. The mountains, the views, the people, just everything about it was very, very beautiful, very local, and it gives you a totally different kind of cultural experience than you get just going to somewhere like the cities, and I really, really, really loved that. However, I learned quite a bit about the culture and the people there, and there were some things that were, in my opinion, a little bit concerning. And I'm not saying this because, you know, I want to go in and change somebody else's culture in any way, shape, or form, but it's just something that I felt was a little concerning, but also our guide was concerned about and said that people were coming from cities and coming from different places to try and educate the Ha Giang people, and it's just been a long, slow road to try and change things. But the thing I'm referencing is, if you watched my videos, I talked about it a little bit, how the women are treated very differently there. And it's basically like the men are put on these pedestals and treated as kings, and they don't do anything, and the women, they go out and they harvest and they grow and they cook and they clean and they do all of the work. And it's to the point where there are women who will actually, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the word on YouTube, they will commit suicide, and they will no longer be present in the world because it's too much for them to handle, and it's their job to also bear the children, and it's just a lot. The men are allowed to have more than one wife, which, you know, to each their own. That doesn't bother me at all. If you are in an open, consenting relationship and that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. That's just my opinion. If you disagree, that's totally fine. But I don't know, it was a little bit concerning to me. It made me feel bad for the women of Ha Giang because they work so hard, and it seems like they don't really get any appreciation even in the modern day. But if people are there trying to educate them, maybe that's something that we'll see change in the future. Another thing that I found kind of concerning was the amount of trash that we saw all along the way. I wish I had known ahead of time that that was going to be an issue, because I totally would have gone with trash bags and cleaned up and brought, you know, trash back to the city. I don't know how I would have done that. I would have figured out a way though. I would love to go with some friends in the future and maybe try and clean up the area a little bit, because it's so gorgeous, and the trash and the pollutants are just not good. So if you go, don't leave your trash. Make sure to clean up after yourself. The world is for everybody and we all need to take care of it. You can also expect to see a lot of animals just crammed into cages. I mean crammed into cages. And it's kind of amazing that not only do they cram these animals into cages, but then they're able to put the cages on their motorbikes and ride with these like massive cages filled with animals on their motorbike. And then sometimes a dog too. Like they'll just get on and they'll be like, all right, little Bobby, I don't know why the dog's name is Bobby, come on and get on the bike, and the dog will get on the bike. Like, it's just very cool. I mean, not the treatment of the animals, but the whole scenario is quite interesting to see. Be prepared to see that. If you're anything like me, it hurt my heart to see the animals that way, but again, it's not my culture, it's not my country, so it's also, I feel, not my place to say anything or do anything, but just my opinion. Be prepared to see that. A really cool thing that you'll see a lot of is there's bird cages everywhere with birds hanging out in them. And Fing Fing explained to me that those birds are there because before we had, you know, iPods and iPhones and whatever other music players, the birds are what the local people used to use for music. So I thought that was really sweet and really cool and probably pretty traditional for most people in the world. Now let's talk a little bit about the tour itself. So we chose to do the Ha Giang Epic 3-day tour by Cheers Hostel. And when I first signed up for it, the name was the Ha Giang Amazing Tour, which is why, if you saw in the videos before, I kept calling it the Amazing Tour. I think they changed the name and they also raised the price, because when I was looking at it, the price was higher than what I paid for it. However, I do still think that the tour price is worth it for what you're getting out of it. In my personal experience, our tour guide was phenomenal. While his English may not have been perfect, it was definitely understandable. He was very passionate about sharing the stories of the Ha Giang people and the history there, and he seemed really connected with the area and very knowledgeable as well, and I genuinely appreciate that, and appreciate that he wanted to share about his people and about his culture and about his history with us, because I think that's an amazing thing, and that's one of the things that I love about travel. So he was just absolutely phenomenal. Our drivers that we had on the tour were all fantastic drivers. There were a couple occasions where, because these are the most dangerous roads in Vietnam, the roads were obviously dangerous, and we had some, maybe close calls. There was one in particular that you guys saw where that big semi truck came barreling around the corner, and Fing Fing and Tom almost got knocked out, but Fing Fing saved the day with his amazing driving. I was very lucky. I didn't really have any close calls. There was one time where I had to completely jump off the bike, and it was when we were leaving from the waterfall. The area to get there was parts of it that were really steep and just basically sand and dirt and mud. And when we were going up one of the hills, the sand or mud or clay or whatever it was underneath us kind of gave out, and the bike started to go backwards, and I just jumped right off, and the driver was able to, get the bike back up the hill, and I just kind of walked up and then met him at the top, and it wasn't an issue. But other than that, there was no problem. The drivers were amazing. They were so safe. They were super friendly. Every time we stopped somewhere, they would take all of our gear off for us, and they keep your stuff in the bike. If you need anything, they'll take it out for you. They didn't speak English, but we were still able to have smiles and laughter and communication in some fashion, and it was great. I really enjoyed that. The homestay experience was one of the best parts for me. Don't get me wrong, I love to stay in a nice hotel and a cute hotel as much as everybody else, but the homestay experience was different and special. And not only did we have these delicious home-cooked meals that were made with local ingredients and cooked in the local style, but it was just delicious, and we were sitting on the floor with everybody else, with the drivers, with the family who lived there, with other people who were staying there, and it was a very incredible and immersive experience that I just adored, and I wish that I had had more time to do that for, several nights, and maybe even in a few different homestays throughout the area. I loved it. I loved that experience. Like I just talked about with the homestay food, the food in general in the mountains, delicious. It was so good. And the fact that I was even able to get vegan pho while I was in the mountains there, so good. So good. Just awesome. You gotta be a little bit adventurous when you travel with food though, especially when you're going somewhere that, is different than your home country, because they have different styles of making food and different styles of making things, and just be open to trying things, even if it's not something that maybe you would normally eat, because you might find a new favorite and you might find yourself surprised. Remember to tip your drivers. If your drivers do an excellent job, they take good care of you, leave them a tip. This is something that I wasn't sure about before I went there, and I tried to do some Googling and I couldn't really find any good solid information about how much we should tip. So at the end of the tour, Sarah, Tom, and I were discussing it, and we decided that we were all going to each tip our driver, and we were going to tip the guide separately. I believe, and I could be wrong, I think I tipped my driver 500,000 Vietnamese dong, which is, it's the equivalent of basically like $22. And then on top of that, I think I tipped our guide another 400 or 300. I can't remember the exact amount, but I wanted to make sure because he was putting in extra work taking care of us and teaching us and translating and all of that. But I wanted to give the driver a good amount too. And while, you know, $20, $25 may not sound like much to us, from what I understand, that is a lot for them and it goes a long way. Maybe I should have tipped more, I don't know. I was just trying to do the best I could, and let me know what you guys think about that if you have any ideas down in the comments, but that's what I did. Now, on the topic of hiring a driver, doing a tour, or driving yourself, and maybe even driving yourself and doing a tour, do I think I could have driven myself? Absolutely. I absolutely think I could have. Yes, they are the most dangerous roads in Vietnam. Yes, you need a license. Yes, you should be careful. And if it is your first time driving a motorbike or a scooter or any of that, maybe this is not the place to learn because the roads are dangerous. There were some places that I would have driven slower than the guy driving me was going. I would have maybe even gotten off my bike in a couple places because I don't know that I would have been comfortable driving through them. And yeah, the mud pit would have definitely been scary, but I definitely could have driven myself. However, I will say that having somebody else drive me gave me a totally different experience that I wouldn't have been able to have if I was driving myself. Because if you're driving yourself, you should be paying attention to where you're going and what you're doing and what's in front of you. While on the back of the bike, I was able to look out and I was able to enjoy the view and enjoy the scenery and take out my phone and take pictures and take videos and really take in the surroundings rather than just concentrating on what's in front of me and paying attention to the road. So I think for the first time going through, it's awesome to be on the back of the bike and to have somebody else drive you. But I think if I went back again, I would like to drive myself. I don't know if I would necessarily do a tour again, but I think it would be really cool to get a group of people together and maybe even get like a local person who's really familiar and pay them to hang out with us for a few days where it's not necessarily a tour, but we kind of have a guide around to, you know, just help immerse us if we have any questions or anything. I think that would be a really cool experience to have, but it's also doable by yourself. If you're a female, don't go totally by yourself especially, but you know what I mean. It's doable without a guide, I think. Next, let's talk about what to bring and what not to bring. So if you guys watch the videos, you know that I went there in January, which is winter time in Vietnam, so it was a little bit colder. So keep in mind that some of the like cold weather things that I brought, you don't need to bring, but I do recommend that regardless of what season you go in, you bring some type of like raincoat, windbreaker, so that way if it does rain, you're not getting completely soaked to the bone. But let's go ahead and get into everything else that you need to bring with you. Number one, first of all, when you are on the road, no matter how long you are on the road for, nobody really cares what you're wearing, what you look like, if you're a little dirty, especially because you are going to be getting a little dirty, a little muddy. You're probably going to be doing some hiking. You're probably going to be doing some sweating. Nobody really cares. So with that being the case, don't stress too much about having a special outfit for every day, about having makeup for every day, about having your hair perfect, about being perfectly clean the whole time. Like, obviously, you know, practice hygiene and take care of yourself, but you don't need to stress about your clothes so much. I know that I was very minimal with what I traveled with, and Sarah said that she wore the same thing the whole time. So you can do that too. It's not a big deal. Just, you know, practice your normal hygiene and make sure that if you want to take pictures, you're gonna be happy with how you look in your pictures, obviously, but you don't have to stress about it too much. 2, bring at least 2 shirts. I only brought 1, thinking that I was gonna do my usual, I'll just wash it in the shower or in the sink and put it up to dry and it'll dry overnight. Well, for some reason, my shirt did not dry overnight, and luckily Tom had a shirt that I could wear, so it wasn't a big deal. I was able to wear his, but I would say bring at least 2 shirts just in case. Number 3, I recommend bringing a pair of socks for each day, plus 1, maybe 2, especially if it rains. And if you are there in winter, you're gonna want some warm socks because you don't want your little toesies to get cold. Number 4, shoes. Of course, you want shoes, but you want to make sure you are wearing shoes that are both comfy and a little bit grippy, because there are places that you're going to be doing a little bit of hiking, there's going to be rocky areas, and if it's raining, you might have a little bit of slip. So comfy, grippy shoes that you're going to want to wear the whole time. You don't need like hiking boots or anything, but I definitely wouldn't recommend going in like flip-flops or something. 5, you obviously want underwear if you're an underwear wearer. Pair for each day, maybe a couple extra. It's up to you. Don't forget your underwear. Don't do it. Bring your panties, ladies. Especially if you are planning on doing either kayaking, boating, jumping in the waterfall, whatever you want to do that may involve water. Bring something that you are okay with swimming in and getting wet, and bring a small microfiber towel that easily dries. Now I'll pop up a picture here because I don't feel like digging it out of my closet, but I really like the towel from Euphoria. It is a quick drying microfiber towel. It comes in several different sizes. It has a little mesh baggie you can put it in. There's lots of different colors. It is the perfect travel towel in my opinion. I would say grab one of these, whatever size and color you see fit for you, but I love it, and I will leave a link to that item down in the description below so you can get it from Amazon. That is an affiliate link, so if you use my link, I will get a little bit of kickback from that. If you don't want to use my link, that's totally fine. Trust me, the towel is worth it, and I'm not just saying that to get some money from it. So it's up to you if you want to use the link or not, but definitely check out the Euphoria towel. Number 7, I would bring some snacks along the way, because there are long points where you're going to be driving that you might stop to take a little bit of a booty break, but there might not be any food or snacks, so just throw a few things in your bag, so that way if you get the munchies, you can have yourself a little snack. Number 8, water. So if you do the tour, you don't actually need to bring your own water. They're really good about providing water in bottles for you, and also every time you stop, the guys like pretty much offer you water to drink. However, I still brought my own water just in case, because I am paranoid and I don't want to be stuck without water because I get migraines very easily. So I brought my own. If you are not doing a tour, definitely bring your own, because there's not stops everywhere to get water, and if you do the tour, you don't necessarily need to worry about it. Number 9, don't skip out on some kind of deodorant. Don't be that person. I personally use the nude deodorant. I don't know if you guys have heard of it before. It's like an all-natural deodorant that you put on as a cream, and most people only have to put it on once every couple of days. I put it on once every 3 to 4 days. Some people can go longer, some people it's shorter, but that is my saving grace, especially with traveling. It makes it super convenient, so don't forget some kind of deodorant. Number 10, don't forget your toothbrush or your toothpaste, of course. I know this is a little bit of a comprehensive list of some of the things that you would take anyway, but I just want to remind people, you do need these things. Number 11, for my long-haired friends, bring a hairbrush and bring some sort of hairbands or hair ties, so that way while the wind is whipping through your hair, you can keep it out of your face, you can brush through it later, just to make sure you're prepared for that, because you're on a motorbike. It might be windy. You might get wet. All those things. Number 12. Is that 12 or is this 12? I don't know. Whichever one you guys see is 12. 12. Number 12. Make sure that you bring your chargers with you. Now, I always bring not only like the little chargers that you can like plug your phone into or plug your portable charger into, but I also bring an extension cord, so that way no matter where I am, I have a little bit of extra length that can be added to it. You can just grab yourself a lightweight small extension cord. I got mine from the dollar store and it worked just fine. But on the topic of chargers, I also bring a solar powered portable charger with me, which I will also leave an Amazon affiliate link in the description below for you guys if you want to check that out. I love that solar charged portable charger. And you can also charge it using electricity, but if you're in a pinch and that's not available, you can charge it using the sun. So you only really need like one pair of leggings or pants or shorts or whatever your style preference is. I know a lot of people wear shorts while they ride motorbikes, especially in the summer, but I personally don't recommend it because if anything were to happen, you do have a little bit of an extra layer of protection if you're wearing some type of pant or legging. It's your choice, however. But really, you only need one pair, maybe two if you're going for a really long time. But I wore the same pair of leggings every day that I was out there, and I think everybody else wore the same pants too. Number 14, ladies, don't forget to bring some kind of sports bra if that's your thing, or bralette, something that you are comfortable in. I don't recommend wearing a normal bra. You're gonna be doing outdoorsy things. Be comfortable. Number 15, you're gonna need some kind of windbreaker or raincoat. It does rain quite a bit in this area, especially during the rainy season, but I personally believe that in Asia and in Southeast Asia, it's always the rainy season. Just my opinion, just my experience. So be prepared and bring something like that with you. Also, I really like my sort of windbreaker raincoat because it has lots of deep pockets, so I can put things in it and layer it. So it's nice. Number 16, you want to bring some kind of gloves with you if you are going to be there, especially in winter, because your little fingers will get very cold if you don't have gloves. Trust me. Number 17, you want to bring some kind of scarf. This isn't necessary for everybody. I liked having my scarf because it kept me a little bit warmer, but also I have one of those infinity scarves that has the pockets in it, and I love that scarf for travel. This is another thing. I'll put an Amazon affiliate link in the description below for you guys. Check it out. It's really great. Men, women, whatever, anybody, doesn't matter who you are, anybody can use it. You can stick your wallet in there, you can stick your phone in there, you can stick your passport in there, you can stick whatever you want in there, and it keeps it hidden, but also with you, and I just love it. Get you one. Number 18, bring a hoodie or a light jacket, especially if you are going to be there in winter. I was layered up the whole time. I had whatever shirt that I was wearing with my hoodie that I have on right now. This is my grounded hoodie. I love this one. And then I also had my raincoat slash windbreaker. It's more of a windbreaker than a raincoat, but it blocks out a good bit of water, and my scarf and my gloves the whole time. So I was warm and toasty, which was nice. So just make sure you have enough clothing that you are going to be warm. It's not absolutely freezing up there. Don't get it twisted in any way. It's still Southeast Asia. It's still Vietnam. On the scale of warm and cold, it's still not freezing, but it does get kind of cold. So you want to be layered up, and it's a lot easier to layer up and take layers off and shove it in a bag and not use it than it is to not have it and then be freezing. Number 19. Don't forget your mosquito repellent. It is not necessarily necessary while you're on the bike, but if you're doing any hiking, while you're sleeping at night, you're gonna wanna have it, especially if you go there during summer. But even in winter, I still had it and used it just to be safe. Those darn little mosquitoes love me way too much. It makes me angry. I eat a lot of garlic. I heard that garlic, they don't like it. It's a lie. Number 20, don't forget your wallet. Don't forget a good amount of cash, especially if you want to be able to buy any sort of souvenirs along the way, and you're gonna want to obviously pay for your meals and stuff like that. So bring your cash. And on top of that, if you're driving, don't forget your license, your ID, your passport, all of that. You don't want to get caught without it in case there is some kind of emergency. And on that note, I would say, especially if you're doing a tour, make sure you bring some kind of small bag that you can fit your cash in, that you can fit maybe like a small camera in, your phone in, whatever, maybe something you can throw around your wrist, or even like a fanny pack style, so that way when you're getting on and off the bike, you're not having to unwrap everything and get stuff out, especially if you have a driver, because it's just really annoying to be like, hey, excuse me, can I get in my bag? Can I get in my bag? Can I get in my bag? Every time you stop. I was really lucky because my leggings had pockets in them. My windbreaker also had pockets, so I was able to shove everything in a pocket that I needed and not have to ask for them to go through and pull my bag out every time. So make sure you have something along those lines. That way you can keep your cash on you and you're just not having to ask for it every time you stop. Again, the scarf that I was talking about is awesome for travel because you can put that stuff in there. Just saying. Sarah recommends that for our frizzy hair friends out there that you bring a small bottle of whatever it is that you like to use to have sort of an anti-frizz, because it's Asia, it's humid, and you're also going to be riding a bike for long periods of time with your head in a helmet, and you don't want to have your hair be a total mess necessarily. Also, you're not going to be able to wear a ponytail the whole time if your head's in a helmet because it will give you a headache. I left my hair down quite a bit, but if it was down, it was usually like in a little pony, or I braided it so that way it was out of the way. Long hair club. But definitely bring yourself some kind of product if your hair does get frizzy. Number 22. I have a little ring on my phone that I can slide my finger through, and I trust it. It's never fallen off. I've never had an issue, and it makes sure that while we were riding, I did not drop my phone. I did not lose my phone. I didn't worry about my phone falling out of my hand, and that is something that you definitely need. Sarah also recommends it if you want to be able to take pictures and videos while you're riding. Don't do it if you're driving though. Only if you're a passenger. Safety first. Anyway, yeah, some kind of ring or strap or something you can put on your wrist so that way you don't drop your phone and maybe send it over a mountain, or maybe just have it cracked to pieces, or maybe have somebody else run over it. So get you something. Number 23, just in case of an emergency, get yourself a very small portable first aid kit and keep it in your bag. You just never know what's gonna happen. You don't need anything massive or extensive, just something small, just in case of an emergency or in case you cut yourself or something. And on that note, I would also advise you to remember to bring some kind of toilet paper or wipes, because not everywhere is gonna have them. And if you bring something, just to make sure that it is environmentally friendly. Number 24, Sarah recommends that especially if you are a solo female traveler, to not forget to grab yourself a SIM card. Now, I know a lot of people go here and they go without SIM cards and they're fine, but it is an extra safety measure that will just make you, as well as the people who care about you, feel a lot safer. When you are traveling through these places, when you are on the bus, especially, the bus doesn't just go to the Ha Giang Loop. It stops at all of these other places. And it's just nice to have that extra sense of security that you can pin where you are, pin where you've been. It's all saved. You have access to the internet. You can get a hold of somebody if there is an issue, and you also can use Google Translate without an issue. I don't know about you guys, but anytime I've downloaded the offline translations, they never freaking work unless I have an internet connection. So just be safe. It's so cheap and so easy to get a SIM. Just do it. And finally, number 25. Tom's personal bit of advice is for you to bring a willingness to be adventurous. And that is absolutely right. This Ha Giang Loop trip adventure is all about being adventurous and challenging yourself and experiencing a very different way of life than what you are probably used to. It's absolutely amazing. And if you have the time on your Vietnam trip, I 10 out of 10 recommend visiting Ha Giang. I really hope that I can go back to this area in the future and experience it again and stay longer and just kind of immerse myself even more, because it was just beautiful and I loved it so much, and I think you guys will too. But that pretty much wraps it up for this one. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. And if you don't know what to comment down below, leave a mountain, a motorbike, and a heart emoji. Not only does that help my channel out a lot, but it lets me know that you were here. It gives us a chance to chat, and of course, I just love to see yo faces down there. If you want another way to help out my channel, down below there will be links to my website, my merch store, and my Patreon. There is zero obligation to check any of those out, but if you want to, you can. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of you so very much. Remember to stay Genki AF, and I'll see you next time. Bye! Hello interwebs, and welcome back. I'm Shanna, and this is where I share my life and stories, adventures, and opinions, and whatever else I feel like. And today we are back with another review. Not another. It's not another. What am I talking about? I think, sorry, there's cat hair in my face all the time. Oh, Mau Mau's coming in. All right, hi Mau Mau. Sorry, the cat decided to come in my room. I thought it was a human, but the cat literally opened the door. Hi Mau Mau. Okay. A extension cord. Number 19. No, that's not 19. Let's try that again. You are a solo female traveler. Why did I say that weird?